Resident Evil, a game that made its debut in 1996, and the series continues to stay alive even till this day. But the question is, was Resident Evil 5 worth the wait? This is Genesis, and this is the review on Resident Evil 5. The story takes place in Africa, and you play as Chris Redfield or Shiva Alamor. Chris is a returning protagonist of the Resident Evil series, while Shiva is a new character. Chris and Shiva are part of a group known as the BSAA, a group fighting against bioorganic weapons. Then you are sent to investigate a terrorist bioorganic weapon threat, and from there you fight to find answers and the truth. And I gotta tell you, this story is pretty damn fun. One of the best features of Resident Evil 5 is its appearance. The graphics look amazing. The graphics are clear, clean, and so detailed that you can see the sweat from people's faces. Even when you get close to objects, they continue to stay clear. You won't find any blocks in this game. Also, the environment around you looks nice. The only downfall is what you see is what you get. You can't use objects around you to your advantage. Being this is the next generation Resident Evil, I expect for the player to have more freedom, like to pick up objects and create a barrier or something along those lines. But that is not found in Resident Evil 5. Well, the appearance of the game is important, but what about the appearance of the cutscenes? Well, I gotta say, people, the cutscenes make Resident Evil 5 what it is. The cutscenes in Resident Evil 5 look amazing, just like the gameplay, except they are very entertaining. They look like it looks like you're watching a movie when you watch these cutscenes. They're very entertaining to watch. A lot of action involved. And I gotta say, without the cutscenes, Resident Evil 5 wouldn't be so good. The gameplay itself is fun, with only a few downfalls. One being you can't run and shoot, or aim and walk. You have to stop, aim, shoot, then continue. However, there is an improvement since Resident Evil 4. You can move left to right. Another fun feature in the gameplay is being able to punch and kick your opponents when they are in a certain position. Yet, this was expected since it was in Resident Evil 4. Unlike other Resident Evils, Resident Evil 5 presents a new feature which is co-op. This makes it so you and your friend can go through the storyline. However, sometimes if you're not playing with a friend, Shiva can be pretty annoying. A good thing about the co-op feature is that obviously you and your friend can go through the game, have a good time, and have some fun. And also, they really don't limit you too much on the co-op features. You guys can exchange items, ammo. Co-op mode is a very good feature in Resident Evil, in my personal opinion. But for people who are looking to get scared, you don't look in Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5 is a purely based action game. There's nothing scary in this game whatsoever. That is a downfall. Well, after watching that, we can all agree that the video looks good. But how is the audio? Well, the audio is what is expected from a new gen game. Good voice acting, background music, gunshots, opening/closing objects, and even walking. It all sounds good. They even added the sound of your equipment as you walk. So skipping some of the little details of the gameplay, let's look at the big picture. Is the gameplay overall fun in Resident Evil 5? My answer is yes. The game gives you plenty of boss fights and situations which will keep you and your friend guessing where the next mission will take place. There are many environments that you will go throughout the game. So now that we covered the storyline, what else is there to do in Resident Evil 5? Well, there is a mercenaries mode, as seen in Resident Evil 4, in which you fight off waves of zombies until you die or the time runs out. You have to run around and collect time in order for it not to end. This game is co-op online and offline, and I would say this game mode is pretty fun, but it may get boring after you run out of maps to play on. And a downfall of Mercenaries is there is no option to switch it so you and your friend can just fight off zombies until you die and see how long you can last. Kind of like a horde mode in Resident Evil 5. There is none of that, which I think a lot of players would have fun with. I know I was hoping for some kind of update or something just so we have more to do than just Mercenaries. However, there was an update for the DLC multiplayer on Resident Evil 5. I'm going to cover that right now. Well, as for the DLC, which means downloadable content for those who don't know, I have not played it or downloaded it, but I can tell you this much. A lot of my friends bought it, and they all told me the same thing. It wasn't good. So I wouldn't put all your trust in this DLC. I don't think Resident Evil 5 can be a main online game for most people. And from there isn't much to do after that. You can go through the story mode again with your upgraded weapons, and change the difficulty for a greater challenge. And also they have a movie theater option, which I found to be, well, at least cool to have. However, I must say that after completing the story about 2 to 3 times, after that it gets boring, and there isn't much to do on Resident Evil 5. This game lacks the replay factor, which is one of the most important factors in any video game. Another very bad thing in Resident Evil 5 is there seems to be connection problems. For example, I have to go to the bonus features and then accept the invite. If I don't do that, then I can't connect to anyone. And I know it's just not my connection, because my other friends have the same problem. So be aware of that. There has not been any updates yet fixing that. Well, this is my final rating on Resident Evil 5. This game gets a 7 out of 10 because the story/gameplay is great, but after that there isn't much to do besides mercenaries and online multiplayer, which can get very boring after playing it for too long. This game just lacks the replay factor, and you most likely won't be on it too much after playing it through. For those wondering, should I get this game? Well, I would say for Resident Evil fans, I'm guessing you already got it. And for those who don't know much about Resident Evil, rent it. This game is not worth $60 for those who don't know much about Resident Evil. I would definitely suggest that you rent this game, because it is a good game overall, but not for $60. So Resident Evil fans, buy. Others, rent. Well, this is it. Once again, this is Genesis, and please subscribe to NeoGenGaming, and thanks for watching my review on Resident Evil 5.